The company's powerful CEO was about to step into his sleek black car when a terrified voice shattered the silence. It wasn't an executive or even a rival. It was the cleaner's young black son, yelling, "Don't get in the car." Everyone froze. Why would a child dare to warn the most feared man in the building? What secret did he see that no one else could? What the CEO did next didn't just change his own life. It shook the entire company to its core. It was a typical afternoon at the company headquarters. The CEO, known for his sharp suits, strict rules, and untouchable reputation, was wrapping up another long day. Around him, employees moved quickly, eager to avoid his gaze. To most, he was a figure of power, distant and unreachable. But to one woman, the company's cleaner, he was just another man passing by as she quietly mopped the marble floors, her young son waiting patiently in the corner with his backpack. To him, this was normal life. His mother working late, the polished halls gleaming, the big cars pulling up outside. He never imagined that on this day, those same halls and that shiny black car would pull him straight into a moment of truth, one that no one in the building could ever forget. The CEO adjusted his tie and made his way toward the gleaming black car, waiting just outside the entrance. His driver opened the door, but before he could step in, a piercing shout cut through the air. "Don't get in the car." The voice was small, trembling, but loud enough to stop everyone in their tracks. It was the cleaner's son. His mother gasped, her mop clattering against the floor as she rushed to hush him. But the boy didn't back down. His wide eyes were fixed on the CEO, his hands shaking as he pointed toward the vehicle. For a split second, the courtyard went silent. Secretaries paused mid-step. Guards shifted uneasily. No one dared speak. How could a child, a boy whom most people overlooked, dare to shout at the most powerful man in the building? The CEO frowned, confused. "What did you say?" The boy swallowed hard. "Please don't get in. Something's wrong." That was when the whispers began. Some employees scoffed under their breath, rolling their eyes. "This kid is just trying to get attention." Others muttered darker words, "Troublemaker," just like the rest of them. You could feel the tension thicken, the kind that always seems to surface when race lingers unspoken in the room. The cleaner grabbed her son by the arm, her voice cracking. "I'm so sorry, sir. He doesn't mean it. He's just tired, just a child." Her face burned with shame, knowing the dangerous line they were walking. A poor black cleaner and her son, standing against a man whose signature could end her job in seconds. But the boy wouldn't let go. He pulled free from his mother's grip, his voice rising, desperate now. "Please, you have to believe me." The CEO stared, torn between anger and curiosity. Around him, the atmosphere turned colder. Some employees exchanged smirks, expecting him to humiliate the boy. Others looked away, afraid of being seen, even acknowledging the moment. It wasn't just about a warning anymore. It was about who had the right to be heard and who didn't. Finally, the CEO hesitated, his hand hovering over the polished car door. The boy's words echoed in his mind, something bad inside. Employees shifted impatiently, waiting for him to laugh it off, to put the child back in his place. But something in the boy's trembling voice felt real. "Check the car," the CEO ordered quietly. Gasps spread through the crowd. The driver looked nervous. The guards exchanged uneasy glances, but one moved forward and pulled open the back door. For a heartbeat, everything seemed normal. Smooth leather seats, the faint smell of cologne. And then, beneath the seat, he saw it. A small black device, wires snaking out. The guard froze. His voice cracked as he shouted, "Sir, step back." Chaos erupted. Employees stumbled backward. The cleaner screamed, clutching her son. The CEO's face drained of color, his chest tightening as he realized the boy had saved his life. But the shock didn't silence the whispers. "Impossible! How would he know?" Someone muttered. "Probably staged," another sneered. "You know how they are." The mother's eyes filled with tears, not just of relief, but of rage. Even now, even when her son's courage had saved the most powerful man in the building, the first instinct was suspicion, to doubt, to discredit. The boy stood tall, though his hands still shook. "I just saw someone earlier, near the car. They were hiding something." His voice cracked, but his bravery filled the silence. And for the first time, the CEO saw the truth, not just about the device, but about the world around him. The glances, the whispers, the way a child's warning had almost been ignored simply because of who he was. The car, the device, the fear, that was one kind of danger. But the deeper threat was the prejudice that nearly cost him his life. Everyone waited. What would the CEO do? Would he thank the boy or let silence bury the truth? The air was thick, trembling, as the CEO turned back toward the crowd. This was the moment that would define. The bomb squad arrived within minutes, confirming what the boy had said. The device was real, deadly. If the CEO had stepped inside that car, the story would have ended in tragedy. Reporters swarmed the building by nightfall, demanding answers. But what shocked the company most wasn't the device. It was the uncomfortable truth that played out before their eyes. That a child's voice, a black child's warning, was nearly dismissed as foolish, disruptive, unworthy of belief. The CEO stood before his employees the next morning. His usual stern tone was gone, replaced with something heavier. Yesterday, he began, a boy saved my life. A boy most of us never saw. And I'll be honest, I almost didn't listen. Not because of what he said, but because of who he was. His voice cracked. That should haunt every single one of us. The cleaner wept quietly in the back row, clutching her son's hand. For once, the eyes on them weren't dismissive. They were watching, listening. But outside that building, the story carried weight far beyond one CEO, one company, one narrow escape. It was a reminder of how prejudice blinds us, how many voices are silenced, how many warnings are ignored, how many lives are lost, simply because of the color of someone's skin. That night, the CEO made a vow, one that spread through the company like wildfire. He promised change, policies, protections, and above all, a culture that listened. Not because of rank, not because of wealth, but because every voice mattered. Still, the question lingers. How many others will not be heard? How many truths will be buried under whispers of doubt and stereotypes? The boy never asked for recognition. He only wanted his mother safe, his truth believed. And in his courage, he left behind a lesson that none of them could forget. Sometimes, survival depends not on power or status, but on whether we're willing to truly listen. And so I'll leave you with this question. The next time a voice you normally ignore speaks, will